Hello there, friends. It's Jennifer Pearson here. And I apologize if my hair looks a little weird or if you see bits of twigs on me. I was out working in my yard before this and thought that continuing my review of Los Scarabeo's Romantic Tarot would be a nice way to relax and cool off afterwards. And so I'm now on, this is the third one, and I'm now on the Suit of Pentacles. And so I'm doing each suit because this deck has proven to be quite non-traditional. And so I wanted to do a really thorough review because I hadn't found really a thorough review that admits that there's quite a cynical twist to some of these cards. So it's not, for something called the Romantic Tarot, there's some very unromantic cards here. So there's the implication that whoever created the deck, I don't know if it's specifically Los, I think Los Scarabeo, I'm massacring what I take to be Italian, is the actual writer of the deck. And is that card in here? Tools for a spiritual journey? Well, maybe. Los Scarabeo, which is the scarab, is what they show on here. So I think that's just the printer. So I don't think it's giving credit to the artist here. Maybe it does in the front. But anyway, the conceptualization of this deck is not sweet. It's not sweet as you might expect from a deck that calls itself the Romantic Tarot. And that's why I wanted, here we go, artwork by Julia. And so Emanuela Signorini, okay, artwork by Julia F. Massalia. Alright, I don't think that didn't tell me anything. But anyway, except one would assume with both of those names that it was women. And yet we have a rather cynical take. And so maybe it's a European thing, I don't know. But there's a rather cynical take on quite a few of these cards. And the assumption seems to be, or the implication is that romance is manipulation. And being honest about love or our animal drives is a more appropriate, appropriate isn't the right word, a more honest way to approach relations between men and women, or romantic quotes, romantic partners. Probably shouldn't use the word romantic, sexual partners. People who are partnering for life for whatever reason. Oh, and here's one of those. Twig on the cuff of my sweatshirt. So now we're exploring. We've already covered the cups, which is definitely not, it had lots of cynical twists and is not about the emotion so much as indulgence. And then we did the wands. The wands actually were not too bad as far as the cynical aspect. And then, or now I should say, we're at the Pentacles. Hopefully I'm not too tired to be doing this. My brain is slowing down. But we'll give it a go. In Pentacles, each of the suits is based in a city. So the Cups was in Venice, the Wands were in Paris, and again the Wands were phallic, and so if you think of the Eiffel Tower as a phallic symbol, then that is appropriate for that. Suit of Pentacles is Rome, and again if you think of a major landmark in Rome, of course. The Colosseum is circular. And we can think of all the Roman coins and all of that kind of stuff. It's just the Roman Empire is very appropriate for the suit of coins or pentacles. All right. So the ace is very traditional. And so sometimes I'm going to be showing you both the Rider-Waite and this deck. But this is quite traditional, except that there's a sense of it being a museum piece sitting on that cushion like that. And there's a winged woman in the background, and I don't know if this depicts an actual old coin or not, but it looks like the inscription says Omnia Vincit Amor. Vincit Amor, would that be love in the vicinity? Lots of love in the vicinity? Not sure. And so I'm going to also read, for most of these, I'm going to read from the guidebook. The guidebook just has very short little comments on the cards. Some of them get a little bit longer, but, you know, a sentence or two. And sometimes, for some of them, in the past, like in the cups, there were quite a few that were very traditional. They have one word. They have at the very end of their description here, they have one word in italics intended to be a keyword. And usually the keyword relates, that wasn't so true with the wands, more with the cups, but the keyword would relate to the traditional meaning. And sometimes this keyword, because this deck really departs from a traditional Rider-Waite, would have nothing to do with what you would see on the card. And so it's like, what? And I even, in the wands, came across a place where very clearly there was a typo, and they put the description for the 5 on the 6 and the 6 on the 5, I think it was. So, you know, take what you can out of it. I tend to read images rather than go by the guidebook. But again, I'm just trying to show you their take on things here, so I will give you both. And, all right, so ace, the copper coin. This is the moment of waiting. Just look around. It should suffice to seek love among many loves. Okay, maybe that's what that Omnia Vincit Amor. Many loves in the vicinity. It should suffice to seek love among many loves. And then it says solidarity. So it sounds like playing the field to me, but I'm not sure how you would interpret in the traditional tarot. We do have, I will say this is often taken as a seed card, and sometimes an indication of pregnancy. And so you have that implication of seeds down here where you have the grapes, and of course, which to me at any rate brings to mind Bacchus and the pleasures of Bacchus. And we have some other berry here that I don't recognize. It looks like a poppy over here, and some other flower that I'm not completely grasping what that flower would be. So there is that notion of the seed to be planted and what might come from it. But the solidarity thing doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Okay, so here we have the Two of Pentacles, and it has nothing to do, nothing whatsoever. It's complete departure, nothing to do with this. This looks more like the Six of Cups, but it's not. It's not. It's meaning that again that this is the beginning of a romantic interlude. It's as it says, innocent games. Somebody's, stealing a kiss. The girl actually doesn't look that into it. To me, they're talking about the beginnings of attraction. The beginnings of attraction. That first kind of childish urge to hug or make contact with somebody. So 2, innocent games. What does not yet exist certainly will be. Nothing escapes change. Everything is a moving wave. So, and they've got their little goatees moving there. Easy and happy, crazy and in love. Balancing. Again, so they put balancing in there. No. For the traditional Rider-Waite, yes. No, not for this. This is not a card of balancing. So I would just interpret that as, again, the very, very beginnings of attraction. That point at which you just realize that you want to be closer to somebody, that you're leaning toward them and you hadn't realized that you were leaning toward them, that sort of thing. I think this is a really cute reinterpretation of the Three of Pentacles. So the Three of Pentacles is usually about cooperation and building things, but it is about showing your skill. And here we have a guy who is showing off for 3 ladies in the background. And I just think that's cute because it's not always expressed this way, but men do this, and it's often, again, not strength. So this is a cute card to have in a deck in the sense that if somebody's wondering, is this person flirting with me? Is this, to me, if this card came up, that would be a yes. This person is trying to impress you. So I think that that's a nice card to have in there. Okay, then we have the Four of Pentacles. And usually this is a card about solidifying your position in the world and protecting what you have. Some call it the greed card, and I think that that's a little unfair. But it's definitely about protecting what you have. And here we not only have 4 pentacles, they're kind of little insignia on the ruins that we have here. But we also have 4 rams. And 3 of them have garlands on them. And the woman is holding a 4th garland. And the man is in the background. So I don't know if he's been chasing her, or at any rate he's watching her and wanting to approach. So 3, no. Oh, I forgot to read you. I'll read you the 3 in a minute. So here we are with the 4. The shepherdess among the goats. What a weird, what a weird thing. The shepherdess among the goats. The most powerful chains are not of iron, but of air. They tighten around the neck, okay? So they've got the garlands around the neck. They tighten around the neck without leaving marks and crushing willpower. Cupidity. Okay, so in other words, I think what they're saying here is that she's a bit of a siren, shepherdess among the goats, but she's a bit of a siren who is somehow tempting him out into her own realm there, even though it's not the sea or the water, where he's going to lose his power. So again, that's the cynical aspect of things coming in. They tighten around the neck without leaving marks and crushing willpower. My goodness. All right, so we had, again, I forgot to read you the 3 of Pentacles here. And this is called, which doesn't make any sense, the Wanderer. Sometimes powerful governs thoughts. Oh, something's gone amiss here. Something powerful governs thoughts and even instincts. It is useless to resist when love has the force of love. Artistic expression. Okay, so this is not artistic expression. And this is where it's like, why even put that in there? Why even pretend? This is not what we're doing here. And I'm really not getting how that is a wanderer. Maybe as a showman he's a wanderer. Something powerful governs thoughts and even instincts. It is useful to resist when love has it. To me, this doesn't make any. The book doesn't make any sense, but it doesn't need to, because the card itself, the image on the card, is very clear. And again, I'm somebody who really reads images. Okay, so we're on now to 5. 5 of Pentacles. The 5 of Pentacles is normally, let's go on here. This is normally the 5 of Pentacles, okay? In the traditional Rider-Waite. And it shows these, one person crippled, poverty-stricken, feeling left out. And the 5 Pentacles are a church. So it shows that they could find shelter, perhaps in the church if they were to look there, but they're feeling excluded. And, you know, sometimes there are judgments in churches that actually exclude people. They blame them for their own poverty or something. So, this is that's that. And here now we have this as the 5 of Pentacles in this deck. Completely different. Completely different. And so you have 5 coins sitting on the table. You have this heavy-duty flirtation, which is, and clearly sexual flirtation. Playfulness, so not necessarily bad, but there's playfulness here. And they look like they're having a good time. Okay? They know how to have a good time. But what do we get in the guidebook? The harlot. The harlot, for goodness sake. So kind of to me that's like the virgin whore dichotomy. She's, oh, come on. She doesn't look like a harlot. I mean, maybe, but anyway, she doesn't strike me as a harlot. All doors have a key, even the great door of love. Whoever finds the key has the right to enter and become the owner of everything. And it's interesting because, okay, so what are you saying here? Are you saying that the money is the key? That money is the key to love? I don't know. It's a problem. It's a problem for me. The next one, okay, so here we have the 6. All right, and this does have some application, some relationship to the classical 6 of Pentacles, because the 6 of Pentacles is about an exchange, although it's more likely to be, and it's about, well, it's not necessarily about the marketplace, though. It's about giving to the poor, giving to people who are needy, whereas here is just an exchange in a marketplace. And it's not clear that any money is actually changing hands. You know, he seems, there's almost like a flirtation going on, or she's feeling flattered because he said, hey, can I paint your picture? And what we have up at the top is we have this funky statue up here with the face turning away. I have no idea who or what that is or what it's supposed to allude to. So this is interesting because to me it's not a very romantic card. Again, unless you take it in terms of the notion of flirtation. So let's look at that. That's the 6 of Pentacles. And the painter. Sometimes it is better to abandon the old road and venture into an unknown world. Therein lies the difference in looking at a world that you have never seen before. So maybe looking at your partner in a different way. I don't know. There's a stretch. And whenever there's a stretch between the image on the card and the guidebook, I follow the image. Okay, and so the next one, that was the 6. So the 7 of Pentacles in the traditional Rider-Waite, I just want to show you this. This is reconsidering if all the work you've put into this is worth what's coming out. So it's kind of a reconsideration of things. And here we have something completely different. The Pentacles are actually a pathway. It looks like it's into the Colosseum there. And there's a guy, I don't know if you can see him down there in the doorway. Looks like maybe he's had too much to drink or he's having a siesta there, hanging out at the base of it. So, and it's funny because green is the color for the Suit of Pentacles. And the woman actually has a pink, peachy pink color. The trees are green, but the person who has the green is this woman over here that looks like just a merchant outside the Colosseum. And so we have, as an explanation of this card, this woman following the Pentacles. We have, this is the 7, secret rendezvous. When life sleeps, the stars are awake. Love is a star. It begins to shine when darkness falls. Okay, so maybe this is the sunset up here. It's not really that clear. It doesn't look like that. There still seems to be a lot. But anyway, I could see that. Secret rendezvous. Now why it would, doesn't relate to the 7 of Pentacles traditionally, but whatever. Okay, at least the picture makes sense with what's in the book, so that there's an advantage there. Okay, so it begins to shine when darkness falls. And I'm not even going to read the keyword because it's so ridiculous. Okay, so the next one makes a lot of sense. This one happily makes a lot of sense. Traditional Rider-Waite, putting a lot of work into something to see rewards. You're in the production stage, putting in your work. And this is a great, and I love this card. I think this is cool. So he's willing to do some work in order to impress her. He's carrying her on his back, and you see he has sort of a sash that has a bunch of the pentacles on it. So to me, this is a really cute depiction of, carrying someone. And that's what we have to do sometimes when we're in love, in our family relationships and human relationships in general. Sometimes we have to carry someone. We have to take on the lion's share of the work. And here they're making it playful. So that's cute. I like that. And so you could say that helping her across the stream is a labor of love. It also shows some gallantry there, which is a rare feature in this deck. There's not a lot of gallantry. Okay. Okay, so we're in the 9. We've arrived at the 9. And here we have a couple. It looks like in a cathedral maybe. They're touring a cathedral or a museum. Looks more like they're touring an old cathedral or something like that. Definitely leisure time. And this card they're calling lights and shadows. So the pentacles are actually the circles of light on the floor that are coming in through the windows of the cathedral. I keep listing. Again, I must be more tired than I realize. So this will be my last video. So they're calling it light and shadows. Doubts and desire melt together. So that's cool. Careful. It says careful. You will either conquer your light or lose it. Okay, that's kind of a weird thing to say. Your body fervently desires to lose itself in another body. Oh my goodness. Alright, I can see them being in love, maybe. She looks like she's in love with him. But, okay. Your body fervently desires to lose itself in another body. And let's see, doubts and desire melt together. I don't see conquer your light or lose it. That's, I'm not getting that. And it's, you know, it departs from the traditional cards, but there is still a sense of wealth and tradition there, which strikes me as appropriate. All right, and then we get to this Ten of Pentacles, which is normally this card of family and kind of having everything, being able to provide for somebody. Of being established, okay, that's the normal interpretation, and this is completely different. So you have some naughty behavior in a public place. So you have this guy who's trying to undo the garments of a woman who apparently is gazing at some maybe historical display of coins up there, and he's undoing, I won't call it a bodice, something it looks almost like an apron, and they call this an amorous trap. You mustn't miss that appointment. What? You mustn't miss that appointment. Do not tighten the laces of fortune too tight and let your heart take over. Abandon yourself and don't ask questions. Abandon yourself and don't ask questions. Now that makes some sense here. But the do not tighten the laces of fortune too tight. Not, okay, that's fine. And let your heart take over. I think that's a matter. They should have put a period there, maybe. So they are saying, do not tighten the laces of fortune too tight. So she's leaving an opening there for him to undo her. And then, period, let your heart take over. Abandon yourself and don't ask questions. So I think it's a matter of, this amorous trap is the fact, actually, that it's not him, actually, the way from the guidebook. It's her, supposedly, creating a situation that will allow herself to be undone. That is the trap. Which is probably why she doesn't look too disturbed by the fact that he's falling for the trap. So, interesting. And then we have the page, or as they call them here, the knave, and that's another relatively traditional word used for the pages. The pages we're at the court cards, and they depart quite a bit. The pages in particular are older, which makes sense to me. I heard somebody else kind of object to that, but these are supposed to be romantic possibilities, and so they should be, you know, at least what we would consider of age. Less childish than the, or childlike than the traditional Rider-Waite pages. And so here we have, this is probably the oldest looking of the pages, or knaves as they call them here. And he's one of my favorites, actually, because he's looks to be, even though he looks poverty-stricken and he's barefoot, he's tooting, he's the traveling musician. And they're calling him amorous wayfarer. I'm not really seeing the amorous. Amorous wayfarer. Is love challenging you? Accept and enter the arena. Someone is keeping your place. Opportunity. that isn't how I would read that card. I would maybe say being beckoned or called. This might be a situation where you're being called. Especially with this being Roman based, you know, you've got Pan, the implications of Pan, somebody playing the flute. I think there's somebody else, especially with him being goat-footed. I don't know if satyrs also toot or not. There's, oh well, so much for my grasp of mythology. I'm losing it. I used to be much better at that. Okay, and then we have the fairly gallant looking Knight of Pentacles, and he is dropping money in a well, so kind of dropping money in a wishing well. And here we have for him the words, an officer and a gentleman. So an appealing depiction of him. Work is needed for an ear of wheat to grow. Then at the right time the grains ripen as you desired and must be harvested quickly. Okay, great. This does strike me as being very Knight of Pentacle-ish. However, what does it have to do with love? It's like they departed from their own mission in the guidebook in terms of not relating this particularly to any sort of love situation. Maybe he's somebody who's so obsessed with establishing himself that he just can't even see love where it is. I don't know. But at least it keeps the traditional notion of him being somebody who moves slowly forward. And then we have the Queen. I don't know how they treat it. The queens are treated in a little bizarre fashion. So here we have the Queen of Pentacles. And to me, she looks like a prostitute. It looks like she's, the way she's positioned on the bed there, and she looks like she's tucking some coins in between her breasts. And let's see what they say about this lady. So very different from the character of the Queen of Pentacles in the traditional Rider-Waite. The big pot. Ask and it will be given to you. Offer and it will be accepted. The future is at the window and looks out to a sky brimming with promises and offer. So if you ask me, she's offering herself here. She's offering herself here. She is the pot of gold. If you make her an offer, she won't refuse, because she's in the habit of accepting offers. It's her business. Okay. Last, the King. And one of my general objections to this deck is that the Kings aren't very appealing, and this is a romantic deck. And I would say that I can't say, I guess, that the King's court cards are not, the court cards in the Rider-Waite are not all that appealing either. But here we have him, the King of Pentacles, and they're calling him the solitary aristocrat. You will find what, you will find what you are looking for when you lose it. You will have all the money in the world, but love will find you naked. Okay, and it says interests. To me, part of the implication of the Kings in this deck is that the Kings, just because they aren't all that appealing, and they, to me, they don't particularly embody the suit. This guy actually more than the others at this point. I'm not even, yeah, I would say that of the King of Swords. So this one is, I think, does the best at embodying the suit he's part of. But there seems to be an implication here that kings are not very romantic people. That just isn't their focus in life, and don't look to them for romantic satisfaction. So there you go. He's the King of Pentacles. He's not the King of your heart, and neither is the King of Cups, who actually ends up looking like a very stern person. So there we go. That's our Suit of Pentacles in the Romantic Tarot, the deck of the Romantic Tarot. And I will do, what do I have left? I have the Swords and I have the Major Arcana, and so I will do them another time. We'll do them separately. Thanks for stopping by and taking a look. I hope this helps give you an idea of what this deck is all about, and whether or not you can possibly use it in your own reading or your own personal development. All right, thanks so much. Bye-bye.